I'm Ann Abernethy, and this is Beyond Badass, How Fierce Women Get It Done. As a real estate broker here in Aspen, Colorado, I've had the good fortune to meet so many impressive and inspiring women, and I just thought their stories should be heard. The goal here is for all of us to learn together. Welcome to Beyond Badass, the podcast. Oh boy, am I happy that this day has come. For a long time, I've wanted Jayne Gottlieb to be on the show. And you know what's amazing about her? I've watched her for about the last 10 or 11 years. And she's the queen of reinvention. I've never seen anybody navigate recession and COVID more creatively than Jayne. And we're going to talk all about her business and how she survived kind of a tough market to have her own business in Aspen, Colorado. So without further ado, Beyond Badass, How Fierce Women Get It Done. My guest today is Jayne Gottlieb. Yay!
Thank you.
All so done up with your blue, that is, by the way, that is a Beyond Badass hat.
Thank you. This is a good reinvention. You go from the yoga room, throw on a hat and a sweater, and here we are.
Well, and nobody could look better in it than
Thank you.
So I really mean that, Jayne. I mean, you're kind of the guru of all things fitness and wellness and goodness in the world, and you've led through that, but you've led yourself through a whole lot. And first, tell us the name of your business, tell them the name of your business and what you do, and then I want to go back to that question.
All right. So right now, it's Aspen Shakti. And I love to share what Shakti means because really I try to embody Shakti. If I were to change my Instagram handle, it would be She's Walking Shakti. So, Shakti, the creative energy of the universe. Anything that has Shakti is alive, luminous, and desirable.
Sitting right there in that chair.
Thank you. So I really try to orient towards that. And it's been funny because this is the third or fourth business, but I didn't even name this one. Then it just named it. And I really didn't even know what Shakti was at that time. And it is what I'm blessed to have the gift of trying to embody that because it's not easy. And we all have it, but to do that with consciousness is kind of cool.
And the name found you?
The name found me. Literally, I've been a yogi for a long time. It is a yoga studio. It's an embodiment studio. And I like to call it embodiment in the fitness world is a bit of a buzzword right now. But I like to spell it in body ment. Like in your body. That's what we're doing here. So it just, as I was getting into the world of yoga, Shakti, it just sort of chose me.
And that word, I mean, that is such an intentional, directional, instructional word for all of us.
Yeah, it is.
If you never entered a yoga studio.
Totally. It's in us. We all have Shakti. We just don't necessarily know how to work with it or keep it alive or nourish it.
How do you do that?
How do you do it? Well, that's a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
But getting in your body is an incredible way. Having a mindset and tools to sort of reframe that maybe the universe is happening, everything is happening for us instead of to us. These are ways to keep that inner fire lit.
Well, I've seen you challenged. Mm-hmm. I have, because you had some lease problems with your first businesses or issues that caused you to have to interrupt your flow.
Yeah. Right.
And you managed to go through that, and then you decided I saw you the day that you were going to go to Aspen and sign that lease.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I remember that.
Wow.
And you said to me, I'm going to open a yoga studio in Aspen. I know I shouldn't be opening a yoga studio. That's exactly what you said. I should not be doing this. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I'm just crazy. I don't even know why I'm doing this. And off you went, and here you are.
Thank you. And you do what it takes to make it happen when you make choices like that.
That was a bold one.
That was a bold one. The community was really calling me up. I had been working mostly down Valley in Basalt and with children and doing all the theater things that I think
we have to stop. Jayne was a professional dancer. She's a triple threat. She's done musical theater.
Thank you.
Teaches the most amazing dance classes ever. I don't even know if you still do that, but they are shockingly memorable.
Thank you. I'm actually reinventing myself right now teaching that class as I walk around with an injury.
Yeah, right. We'll talk about that in a minute. So you did.
Anyway,
you did
I started
that.
to teach yoga on Aspen Mountain, and the reason was because the woman who ran the sun deck, her son did a ton of my musicals, so we had that connection. And she was like, "You want to come and do yoga in the winter, in the sun deck, and we'll do it as like a before skiing thing." And I was like, "Absolutely, I want to do that. What better yoga studio than the top of Aspen Mountain, right?"
Spiritual.
Beyond, like I didn't even have to work hard to
Right.
get people right into it. So that started to get some legs, and then everyone's like, "We need you up here," and I was like, "I'm ready. I'm ready. I come from a background of city studios where they're vibrant. There's classes of different varieties and all kinds of teachers from all over the world, and Aspen didn't have that.
No.
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
But you've done so much with it. You've done so many different things. And
Thank you.
COVID really pushed you into a creative approach. I mean, you have figured out how to manage a whole lot of stuff. But what did you do?
Well, so COVID, everything went online, especially in in every industry, we were all home. But all of a sudden, all the yoga studios were Zooming yoga all the time. And while that made sense to me as a temporary Band-Aid, I decided to take the approach, like, I think this is going to be around, and I want to take the 5-year strategy. Is just kind of where I was headed. And I was like, if I'm going to go online, and most of the people who practice with me at Shakti are from all over the world.
Right.
And the country, and they all have their home yoga studio. Like Aspen is a really cool place for them to come, and they've come to love it. But they have their teachers that they were probably doing Zoom yoga with. So I was like, I can't compete with that. There's no way. And there's no way. So what can I bring to the world that is very unique to Aspen, and what I have been bringing that nobody else is doing? And what's that going to take? So that was the approach I took, and sort of coined and refined my method of teaching, which has so much more to do with freedom and Shakti and joy than sort of a more traditional yoga class.
So what did that look like during COVID?
What did that look like? Well, a really big learning curve, and getting taken down fast because the kind of class that I teach, music and lighting is a really big piece of it, for people to feel the experience. And as you probably are familiar with, to combine sound and audio and voice and visual when you are not a filmmaker is an entire
Oh, that's a different
college degree.
It is a college. Oh, it is completely a college.
And a profession.
Yes.
So, I mean, we just failed and failed and failed. And we kept trying, and the community stayed with us. But, it was hard to get the music loud. All the things were nearly impossible. But we just kept troubleshooting, kept spending some money, kept doing some research slowly, and kind of found our way into creating an experience for the user that was authentic to what they could feel in the room.
Who's our?
My team. I have an amazing team of women and men that have changed over a little bit during this time. And
tell me what they do. What are their roles?
Oh my goodness. One editor. So when she comes in and she sets up the video cameras and then edits. We have 2 cameras also, so that's just its own journey. Microphone, making sure it's on right, sound, layering in the sound over the music, making sure it's not blowing out. So that's one woman. Also, I really wanted to have the experience of the user feel like it was me and them. So getting the camera angle right there, that I was I'm with you. Just refining that. And then also dancers and yogis in the room.
Right.
So that we can offer modifications, or it just wasn't about me. It was about the experience.
Well, it's a performance.
It's a performance.
It is a production and a performance, and you're used to doing that. But it all took a turn.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody learned. And you know what? I found, too, that the audience is so forgiving.
The audience was I was much less forgiving than the audience.
Sure.
And then we had to learn how to take a monthly subscription, the back end of the website, and then the marketing of that when everybody was going, online. And from Aspen, as amazing as it is, it's just a smaller outreach than if you do have a city studio. My mailing list is not the size. of just a functioning, wild city studio.
Right. Well,
So-
but you're here.
I'm here. I'm so blessed. I would never want to be anywhere else.
So you clearly have a magnetism and charisma that people long for. And so I think that Shakti thing is
Real?
It's real. It's
is real.
working.
It is. Thank
because
you.
it draws. Do you find that things that you need and things that you are challenged by and need a solution for comes to you, or do you have to seek it? Are you constantly pushing? I know you're very
Probably
business oriented.
like anyone, a combination of all three. You know, sometimes you have to get quiet, and you got to get outside and just listen, for lack of a better word of saying it. Sometimes I have to listen to a podcast to like inspire a new idea, but most of the time I would say clearing out the clutter and the noise. And then sometimes I have to just make every phone call I could ever possibly make and think of and just see how the world responds.
Right.
And there,
Test
you
the
follow
water.
the energy, yeah.
That's unbelievable. And then now we're post-COVID. So what was the before and after? When you open the doors, you're open,
We are
which
open.
hasn't been that long without masks. But
No, it's like new. It feels great.
yeah, open the doors, and what happened?
Well, one of the fabulous things is because I do walk with Shakti, and that is what people are drawn to, and it does have a magnetism. People were so excited to get out of the house and start to feel it and be in it, and that has just kind of been a building of its own, which is awesome.
And so you're really busy.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Like my classes are really busy, and I think
Duh.
we're tapped into this idea of like people just want to feel joy, they want to feel freedom, they want to feel connected. Probably everybody's speaking those words, but
I think so. But now you've I noticed on your website that you're launching a women's retreat,
Yeah.
which is it's a women's retreat would be great any time of year. But tell us about what you're doing. I think you've done this before, but
well, thanks. This one's kind of cool because back to everything you're talking about, this has been hard the last few years, and it's been hard for everybody, but every time I think I got traction, I didn't actually have it. And so 2021 was just like, for a woman who likes to create things, I just had to sit still, and like nothing had energy. I couldn't get traction. And so the beginning of this year, I took myself on a little 3-day retreat. And I had a very specific agenda. I was like, I'm going to facilitate myself. So I put the agenda together. I was like, I really want to focus on career and get all the noise like in line, or the puzzle kind of put together. I want to focus another day on my mental and physical well-being, just like really where am I now at 43, right? And then the third day I was like, how do I bring aliveness, luminosity, and desire back into my relationships, specifically my significant other? What is it? And so I really took 3 days to do some meditation, to do some focus work sessions, to get outside, and I cell phone off, like me and me.
where were you?
In my house and like walking around my house and hiking and all that.
But just
yeah,
tune out.
I
everybody.
just tuned out, and I knew I like sat in the morning in a meditation with kind of vision work, and then I would just like distill it down through the day. And it was just really powerful for me. It was everything I needed. And so from that, I was like, I want to take other people through this because it's so alive in me. It's so authentic for me right now.
Well, you did it.
And that's what this retreat will be about.
You want to share it.
Yeah, I do.
So tell us what the structure of the retreat is for those that might want to join,
Well,
or maybe
thank
it's
you.
sold out. I don't know.
We're getting there, but not quite. We're going to take 3 days. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All the days include movement, both inside and outside. All the days include really healthy eating and a nice, organic, private chef to kind of spoil everyone, so nobody has to worry about any of that stuff.
Right.
We have a focus session in the morning and the afternoon where I'll guide people through sometimes meditation, journaling, and then facilitation and sharing through kind of those same 3 subjects. So the first day, career and purpose, just really getting, and even for women who don't work, getting back in alignment with your Shakti, with your purpose, with just like what makes you tick, and like writing that down. It's a pretty good compass for like the next 6 to 8 months that then we'll guide you to the next 6 to 8 months. So we'll do career and purpose the first day, mental and physical well-being the second day, and then shock-defying your relationships.
Wow. And how are you going to do this? Where will it be? Is it here or is it?
Between the studio in Aspen and my home. It fits just enough for us to be able to do some of that.
So how many
together.
people can you take?
12.
So 12 lucky women.
Women.
That is so
Lucky me, too.
So fantastic.
Thank you.
How did you learn all this? Like the focus and all, it's so well organized, but how did you learn it?
You know, I have had amazing teachers and role models in my life, namely women. And I kind of just take a piece of all of them, and it became an art project that is mine.
Well, it's very, you're obviously so creative, so it's not surprising that it would end up with something that's well defined and that people can latch on to. So when you look forward to where you're going with all this, do you, on your vision, you mentioned vision work?
Mm-hmm.
When you do your vision work, do you write it down? Do you put it on a board? Do you know what that looks like and how long out? 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, lifetime? What's your thought process?
That's such a great question. I mean, and part of what I was saying with 2021, I couldn't see a vision. And I'm like Aquarian. I'm like a visionary.
Right.
I couldn't see. Like, I closed my eyes, I would feel into a year, 5 years, like
Nothing.
couldn't see, which was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I just have a lot of compassion for those who say, I just can't see. So a vision board, what the hell am I going to do with a vision board?
Right.
There's no vision. But I do have ways of sort of tapping into the silence and beginning to invoke feelings that we remember us being in a happy place, or when we're connected, or when we do feel alive, and you kind of pull it up from there.
And what were you doing at that time?
And exactly, and where were you, and what was, how did you feel about yourself? How were you taking care of yourself? Those sorts of things are actually quite similar for a lot of us. Right?
A lot of us, sure.
My vision hasn't really translated into a physical board at the moment. I love to write, so mine's kind of like a dissertation. Literally, to my significant other, I was like, all right, you ready? Like, my dissertation, I have it, and I'm going to read it to you.
Oh, no.
You got 5 hours, honey.
Get a bottle of wine and sit down.
But I've been working, because I have so many inspiring women in my life who are shaman or Sha women. And I keep getting like this little knock, being like, Jayne, you need to make like an altar around this. Like, and
what does that mean?
What's cool about an altar, even though it's a little woo-woo, it's not in my world. It's like a little corner somewhere where you would have any sort of physical representation about what you want to see, how you want to feel. So it's a little bit more of like a 3D vision board that holds your breath. Like, it holds the animation of your spirit. So there's like things that vibrate in alignment with that goal.
Tony Robbins says, right, you have to, your brain doesn't know the difference between experiencing something and imagining something. And you have to write it down.
Or have symbols.
And have symbols. Yeah. They're called anchors.
Exactly.
You look in a corner and it anchors you back to that place. And then he says to change your state so that if you're going down that rabbit hole, that dark, I have no vision, I can't see, I have no creativity left in me, this thing has sucked the life out of me. That's what he says, changing your state, which is physical to start with, which is what you do. Totally. It's what you do.
Totally, and you trust.
And then trust. I have a thing that I say that, I'm a real estate broker, so when you speak with people, many times they don't know what they want. They don't know if it's where they want to live. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know what does it look like. And my little trick or trigger is to say, write down describe in terrible detail, like bore the heck out of yourself, the most perfect day. What is your most perfect day? Yeah. How do you feel? Who are you with? What did you have for breakfast? How much time off? How much time did you spend on your phone? Right?
Yeah.
If you don't want that, not until you can actually write that down and think it through, are you ever going to know?
Right.
But
Absolutely.
life will suck that out of you.
For
easily.
sure.
Which brings us to a life force that landed on you, not, I mean, this, I'm going to laugh through this because it's just.
I am too.
How can it be that Jayne has torn her ACL?
I did it. It's my turn.
I can't believe you did it, and you're going to have surgery, and you're doing all these other things. And then a while ago you said, you're really going to enjoy this. Who says that?
Well, I did not say I'm going to enjoy it. Let me be clear. What I said is I am really embracing this journey because the fortitude of spirit and the discipline and the relationship with pain and space and time that I am going to learn will propel me to the next level of living and teaching, and I want that experience.
Well, what about your empathy for other people who have pain?
Oh my God, fully, which I really have not had. Not from a felt experience. I can have compassion from my heart, but empathy, like from a known experience.
Right.
And just the subtleties of what physical therapy is going to be teaching me. So I embrace it. Excited, maybe not so much. But I do authentically embrace this journey.
When people say, if you bring all the good stuff to you, then you bring the bad stuff to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, aren't there things like just accidents? I screwed up my ACL.
Of course. I mean, yes, give ourselves a break.
Yeah.
This happened.
And
the gift is in how I respond to how it happened.
Of
right?
course.
Yes, it happened.
Yeah.
I didn't call it to me.
No, but there are those who would say that. And they're, in your field, there's some of that.
Totally.
Right? There's some of that. It's pretty much everything is, you gain from it or it's all your fault. But I think things just happen too.
I do too.
So when you finish this retreat and all this, do you have a next step? An elevation?
I do.
You do?
I do. And I am excited to share it without tons of details because it's not quite like signed, sealed, and delivered. But I am moving into more collaboration and partnership. And I'm ready because through that journey of COVID and it's, I'm ready for support in a bigger way and to support others.
I think that's fantastic. Team has never been more important.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just time, like what we can do together. I always say, I want 1 + 1 to equal 11 in my life.
That's right.
Yeah. Not 2.
No, not 2. Not 2, because then often you find yourself in a vacuum even when it's 2.
Yep.
But it is without that exponential thing happening, growth. I mean, that's what we're looking for. That's the ultimate fulfillment, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you are the embodiment of Shakti. You're in the embodiment of growth, and we wish you all the best on the wellness that's going to happen.
Yeah, all these new lessons. And like I always say, it takes one to know one. You can't even spot it unless you got it.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I'm happy you're here.
Yeah,
thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank you. Yeah.
We did it. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and also that little bell icon next to it. That way you'll get notifications when a new episode drops. And I'd love it if you'd follow me at Inside Aspen on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and then the website's InsideAspen.com. I'm Abernethy. See you next time.